Thunderstone is definitely one of my favorite deck building games, if not my favorite deck building game. I played it when it originally came out and I liked it very much. I loved it, simply loved it since it was rebooted in Thunderstone Advance. And I just love how Thunderstone Advance adds more options. The cards have different graphics, which also look better in my opinion. Thunderstone Advance just works better, it looks better, and it works better as a game. It has more layers and more nuances than the original Thunderstone. Since Thunderstone Advance came out, I've been playing mainly with the cards and the materials of Thunderstone Advance. Even though the old cards are perfectly compatible with the new ones, somehow I was just more attracted to the new ones, and I would just add some cards from the old sets when needed. The majority of my mental focus, of my game experience was on Thunderstone Advance. So I was a little bit between two worlds. I liked Thunderstone Advance and the new cards and the new graphics, and I still was holding on to the old stuff. And I guess that I'm not the only one, and I guess that AEG took notice of that, took notice of players of Thunderstone Advance who still enjoy some of the cards and some of the ideas of the original Thunderstone, but it would not mind to see those translated into Thunderstone Advance. And this is what they have done with this set here, which is Thunderstone Advance Worlds Collide. This is, as the subtitle says that there, some of the best cards from the first 6 sets of the fantasy deck building game. So basically they redid some of those cards. They reprinted them with new graphics, so now those cards have the same look, the same visual feel as the cards in Thunderstone Advance, and also they tweaked things here and there. They changed some of the things. They just changed some of the stats to make things more consistent with what happens in Thunderstone Advance. So what we have here is pretty much a version 2.0 of a selected range of cards from the original set. An anthology, if you so wish. An anthology with a facelift. Now, let me show you what you have in the box, and this is not just for people like me who play the old Thunderstone and want to see some of those cards in a better, more consistent form. It is also for new players. You could start from here. Everything that you need to play is in this box. This is a perfectly self-sufficient set, not just an expansion. Here you have the manual that tells you all that you need to know to play the game. You have some variants at the end of the manual. Everything clear and nice as it always has been in Thunderstone manuals. We have the board of the game, which is something really nice that was introduced with Thunderstone Advance. Since I have every set of Thunderstone Advance, I already have a couple of these boards, but hey, I don't know, I'll be collecting them. I am collecting them for all intents and purposes already. The board has 2 sides that help you organize the cards. And then, as you have in deck building games, well, you have a lot of cards, a lot of little decks that will be organized on the table and that you will be purchasing cards from when you're trying to equip your deck with items that you purchase from the village. Also, there will be cards representing heroes that you hire and that you upgrade, and also the monsters that you face and that are in the dungeon. Let's start by having a look at least at some of the village cards in this set. Up there we have Ambrosia, always a good food to have because it gives you a physical attack bonus and extra strength. The Blast Hammer, solid, reliable weapon, attacks quite a punch. The Border Guard that gives you a physical attack and also can be sacrificed to save a hero. So really the selfless hero here. The selfless villager who will face ultimate sacrifice to save a hero. Chieftain's Drum, I never really much cared for that one in the original set. There's going to be my least favorite card in this set too. Creeping Death, a powerful, devastating spell, very expensive, and rightly so, because, well, there shouldn't be too many of those around. Very powerful because it affects other players by giving them diseases, and also it affects the monsters in the dungeon. Dragonet allows you to recover cards from the bottom of your deck. Drill Sergeant, I like that quite a bit because it allows you to destroy regulars and to draw cards instead. Like most people, I'm not very fond of regulars. Things that get them out of my deck make me smile. More food with the feast, again, physical attack and extra strength. Then we have some swords, always good to have weapons, and you need a good number of those to have a set that, well, is playable and also can work both as an expansion as a standalone set. If you don't have anything else, Thunderstone, this is the first set that you purchase. You have weapons here. You have enough weapons to send your heroes down the dungeon and to give them a good chance to destroy monsters. Just a simple, reliable, solid attack of +3 with a flaming sword and also a point of light. Guardian Blade, powerful weapon that if the equipped hero would be destroyed, you can discard the card instead, then you can sacrifice that instead of the hero. The spear, the bow, like in traditional Thunderstone fashion, the effectiveness of the bow changes with the rank at which it is used. Ritual of Cleansing, you can use it to cleanse your own deck of diseases and unwanted cards. You can also target an opponent, hoping to damage the opponent by making him discard, well, eliminate cards that may be useful to him or her. Time Bend, it manipulates your hand of cards. And the Soulfire, a nice magic attack, which also has another ability, has another effect. You discard up to 5 XP in the dungeon, and then you can add a magic attack of +1 for each XP discarded. Can be expensive, but it can also be pretty powerful. For that attack where you just need a little bit of extra punch, Soulfire is definitely a good weapon to have, a good spell, a good card to have. Heroes, I have to tell you, I'm particularly pleased with the heroes that were selected for this deck because there are indeed some of my favorite heroes in here. Let's have a look. We have the Blue Fire Student, a Cleric and Wizard with a magic attack and the ability to give you XPs. Clan Sergeant, one of my favorite fighters, good physical attack and the ability to add physical attacks to other equipped heroes. So if you buy a bunch of those, or in any case, if you have a good mix of heroes and weapons, then he works well together with the other characters in your hand. Dark Animator. Level 1, you destroy one hero villager in your discard pile to add magic attack +1. I imagine that she turns that into a zombie that contributes to the mission or simply draws the energy from there. At later levels, her power changes, so you add the magic attack equal to the victory point amount of one monster present. Divine Healer, you always need those. It interacts with diseases. You can destroy a disease at level 1. Later, you can add the physical attack +1 for each disease and monster present. The Trapper adds physical attack to your attack. Also, you can add the physical attack if a monster is present. And that when he levels up, it becomes a more powerful bonus. At level 3, he gains a new ability, which is pretty, well, complicated to explain, but it's a pretty fun one if you get to level him up to that point. The Medium, again, a very liked card. Every time that I play, this is a card that players, and he's in play, players tend to like and enjoy. He has magic attack and he has the ability to interact with the top cards of the dungeon deck. And as he levels up, he can do increasingly fun stuff with the dungeon deck and with the cards that are there. The Haruli initiate, a human fighter and wizard, so has a physical attack, but also can exploit the power from magical attacks. So level 1 he has a magic attack of +1 for each spell that is present, and that improves as he improves, as he levels up. The thrower, well, she throws stuff, so she gets bonuses and advantages from the items that she uses, but hey, she threw them, so she doesn't necessarily have them at the end of the action. Good initial physical attack right there. And the ability, a level 1, destroy one item or weapon to add physical attack of +1. And as you can see, she levels up nicely in terms of physical attacks. She becomes quite powerful per se. And also, you can then destroy a weapon to add physical attack equal to the weapon's weight. So the heavier the weapon, the more devastating the attack. The Thief, not necessarily super powerful per se, but it has the nice power. Well, she starts pretty lame, some light, but pretty unimpressive, but then it gains the remarkably annoying power of forcing other players to discard cards. So it adds an interactive element to the game and just annoys the whatever out of your opponents, which is always an added bonus. The Stone Guard Brute, another warrior that is very much liked in my games, in the games with the people that I play with. Physical attack +2 on level 1, add physical attack of +1 while equipped, so it is good to have weapons when you have this guy around. Then when he levels up, the physical attack improves, of course, and so does the bonus while equipped. And he also adds a physical attack if mercenaries are present. Again, fighting interactive cards, not too different in the philosophy from the Clan Sergeant, because of the way in which the card interacts with other fighters and with equipped characters. The Herbalist, after all this bruteness, finally a nice guy, even though not one with very clear facial features, almost looks like he's wearing a mask, which maybe is. Physical attack +1, and the ability of being particularly effective when attacking monsters that give diseases, and that improves over time. Also, he gets the ability of destroying diseases and draw cards as he becomes stronger and more expert. As for the monsters, we have the Thunderstone, which have a variety of negative effects that you have to face, from some types of immunity to things that they destroy. This guy destroys all rangers. Then the oozes, blop, 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 kind of yucky looking, and what they do is that they destroy stuff that gets in contact with them. The undead of the Doom variety, their main thing, what they do well, is to give you diseases. The Doom Knights, they are these guys here. They ignore people. That's how arrogant they are. The heroes go there and they're just, oh, I ignored them. I didn't see them. So they ignore certain types of heroes. They reduce the light. They weaken you in various ways. They make for interesting opponents. The Sky Worms, of which we have some different varieties: Mage, Priest, Scavenger. And also they ignore categories of enemies, and they also have other abilities in the aftermath in which they tend to destroy stuff. Things that destroy things, of course, have a lot of sides to them. On one hand, it means that certain times you will be forced to sacrifice good cards if you want to attack them. In other cases, it may even be an advantage, because by attacking them and by meeting certain conditions, you may be able to get rid of cards that you do not want. So there is that double thing there. Sometimes it is a disadvantage to lose cards. Sometimes it helps in keeping your deck efficient. And this is something that comes to mind when talking about giants, because they also destroy things, and they, in particular, what they do well is to destroy heroes. And the Titan, for example, it destroys all heroes except the two with the highest strength. It does cost to attack a Titan. The spiders, not particularly interesting during the fight, as they're in the dungeon, but if they breach, then they can create devastating effects because they destroy stuff around the table. They destroy heroes, they destroy, again, more heroes, and they may even get to destroy all heroes present, all cards in the hero stack with the most cards. Pretty bad stuff may happen. I guess that the idea is that if they come out, then they start laying eggs, and, well, then you have millions of spiders going around in the world of Thunderstone. More undead, this time of the spirit category. They weaken you by halving your physical strength. They have immunities to physical attacks, so that you have to use magic attacks. They destroy things. I think it thematically captures the idea of, well, ghosts, pretty much. Dragons, they have a variety of ways of annoying you, from active things that they do, destroying immunities that they have, but destroying, as you can see, is one of the things that they do best. And this is probably a red thread among these cards. I feel that these monsters have a number of effects that destroy cards that is higher than you have in an average set of Thunderstone. Usually there is more variety of cards that target different things rather than consistently destroying the cards of the players. Maybe this is just an impression, but I have the impression indeed that there are a lot of cards of this type in the set, which I don't mind at all. Another type of undead, this time of the spectral category, the spectral type, and they are immune to physical and magic attack unless you meet certain conditions. For example, for this one it is to destroy one food, for this one is to destroy one hero, and so on and so forth. For this one is to destroy one monster. But again, they're particularly sneaky. They are spectral after all. They're sneaky, and you need to trick them by, I believe, making a sacrifice, by sacrificing something. Then they show up and they are like, oh look, they sacrificed something for me. And that's when you attack them and you slay them. Good mix of things here, good variety of things. Again, and there's other category too. After villagers that are very convincing and solid, heroes that are just the same, monsters that fit the bill too. Thunderstone Advance Worlds Collide. This is a very solid expansion, very solid standalone set, just a good product. If you have everything Thunderstone already, do you really need this one? Maybe, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you're a completist such as myself and a fan of Thunderstone, you're probably going to get it anyways. If you're new to Thunderstone, this is a good place to start, as good as any set in Thunderstone Advance. You definitely need to play Advance these days. I love it. I really like it. I like the new cards. I like how they work, how they look. I like the selection. I really think that they put together a good set with its own personality out of things that had been created for different sets in different circumstances. I think that was a good selection. I think that the tweaks that they did to some of the cards, although minor, make sense. I like it. I like it very much. I have been debating for quite a while now whether or not to get rid of my old Thunderstone cards, just because I find myself so attracted to Thunderstone Advance. Now that I have the upgraded version of some of those cards, I really feel that this may be the time that I get the courage and that I simply move on to Advance entirely. I believe that now that the worlds have collided, only one world has come out intact. That world is the world of Thunderstone Advance. That one is the one that wins in my opinion, in my own world. It is pretty much the only Thunderstone that I need. So if nothing else, you're thinking, should I buy this one or not? I have so many other sets, this is going to be expensive. it may be that after this you will also feel better about selling your old Thunderstone or trading it away. Even if you give it away as a gift, it is still a bonus that you get. Getting to choose which Thunderstone world is the one that you want to inhabit is definitely a good advantage, one that by itself would be worth the purchase of this set. And again, generally speaking, good set, good for beginners, good for players of Thunderstone. Really nice product, and I'm glad that I've added it to my collection.